Have you ever wondered, how much do certified life coaches make? Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, and I'm a professional psychologist turned coach. I'm going to give you my favorite psychological answer, and that is, it depends. Let's talk about 3 potential contexts in which a life coach might practice and potential income scenarios for each one. First of all, there's an employment scenario. This would be where you are hired as a life coach by an organization that needs life coaches to work with their employees or their people. When I started into the field of mental health as a professional psychologist, this didn't even exist. But coaching has become much more popular as an alternative to therapy or counseling, and especially in an organization where they take good care of their people. There are many opportunities that are opening up now for life coaches to operate in that kind of an environment. I think this is really fortunate because, unfortunately, the term psychotherapy sounds a little like therapy for psychos. And people don't want to sign up for that. I think that's unfortunate because the principles that we use in traditional psychotherapy are really helpful for anyone, whether they have a diagnosis or not, to create and live a life that they love. Employers or organizations who recognize this and are willing to bring in life coaches to work with their people can take down some of the traditional barriers to people actually receiving the services that will ultimately make them more productive employees. So that creates employment opportunities for life coaches who can demonstrate that they have the ability to go in and really make a difference for the people. If you go do a quick search, and depending on the market or the city that you're in, you're going to find that the going rate for an employment level life coach, it ranges from about $16 an hour up to maybe $20 an hour for a beginning position. Now let's look at another scenario. Private practice. Most people who go into life coaching are entrepreneurs, meaning that they are designing their own business to provide life coaching services. A private practice scenario potentially provides more earning possibilities, but also adds the complicating factor of having to design your own business and a business model that can actually be viable. With the 2 scenarios that we've talked about so far, the employment scenario or the private practice scenario, there's really 2 different economies that we're talking about. In the first, in the employment scenario, I think of this as the time and effort economy. Entrepreneurs live in a results economy. So to make the distinction there, in a time and effort economy, you put in your time, you put in your effort. You're hired by an organization or a company, you punch in, you punch out. You come and do the tasks that you were hired to do, and you get paid for that. In a results economy, like you would experience in a private practice scenario, you only get paid if you create results for real people, for your clients. There's kind of a risk-reward trade-off here because even though you don't get paid for your time and effort, you can get paid more for the value that you create for other people. And this becomes much more variable too. You'll see coaches out there who are making anywhere from $30 to $40 or $50 an hour to upwards of several $100s an hour, depending on their experience or what kind of special offerings they make. Let's talk about one more potential scenario, but before we get to that, would you take a moment to click on the subscribe button right here? If you're enjoying this video or if it really resonates with you, subscribe. In this final scenario, you develop a specialty. You have a track record with your clients of success where they are achieving the outcomes that they hired you to help them achieve. As coaches get to this level, they're able to differentiate themselves from all of the other coaches out there in the market and usually attain an influencer status. At this level, I've found that a lot of coaches don't even offer an hourly rate. They work with their clients to determine what outcomes are desired and then work together to achieve those outcomes based on a different kind of compensation. At this level, coaching really becomes an investment. I'm thinking of some of the coaches that I have hired and how I saw the outcomes that they were able to get for their clients. I wanted those outcomes. And so I engaged with that coach to collaboratively work toward those outcomes. This is typically a higher ticket offering and might range from thousands of dollars to 5 figures, even 6 or 7 figures that these coaches are able to make because of the work that they're doing. I remember the first time I hired a coach for 5 figures, and it was the most I had ever paid a coach in my life. But I knew that if I really engaged at this level, that I would be able to get a return on that investment. The thing that really blew my mind is that that happened so much more quickly than I ever had anticipated. And it's because we get in our own way, right? This is something that I think coaches are really good at. They're able to show us what's obvious, but we don't notice. I think my job as a coach is to illuminate the obvious. I get paid to tell people things they already know, or to show them things that they already see. But there are so many obvious things that are unnoticed. For me to have that experience in hiring my own coach at a really high level and experiencing a return on that investment has given me confidence to move forward in my own coaching practice in ways that I am confident I can create results collaboratively with my clients. And that's why there's a return on that investment. So back to our original question, how much do certified life coaches make? It depends. It depends on what kind of an environment or scenario you create for yourself as a coach. Give yourself the permission and grace to be wherever you are in that journey. It's really tempting sometimes to look at the coaches that are out there making the 5, 6, or 7 figure incomes and compare ourselves to them when we're really at a more beginning stage. Remember, they didn't just jump to where they are. There's a growth and development process that occurs as you go through the journey. And so allow yourself to be wherever you are. Where you are, they once were. And where they are, you can be if you'll continue to move forward. Would you like a little help with this process? I've put together a quiz that will help you to clarify 7 areas that are absolutely crucial for every life coach to consider as they are setting up their business or their practice model. Go to the URL on the screen right now, drpauljenkins.com/practitioner quiz. And then when you're done, click submit, and I'll give you a little summary of where you stand in this process based on those 7 clarities. You don't have to do this alone. I've got your back on this. Let's see what we can do collaboratively to move you forward to where you want to be.